Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Renee, and I have a guest here with me, and I will actually ask them to introduce themselves, their pronouns, and what country they're from. And hopefully, we'll have a great conversation this morning or evening, depending on where you are.
Hi everyone, I'm Steven Kabuye. I'm Ugandan. Um, my pronouns are he, stroke, him, and I'd like to say hi. I'm here with you today,
I
and
know, I'm very
right now
excited
I'm in
that.
Nairobi, Kenya, but I'm Ugandan.
Okay, great, great. I actually have siblings that grew up in Kenya for a period like up to 11 around that age. They're early teens, and then they moved all to Canada. So it's a lovely country. Um, but you're from Uganda, and could you tell us a little bit about your country and what are some of your favorite things about Uganda?
Uganda is a country found in East Africa, bordered with Sudan, South Sudan in the north, Kenya in the east, DRC in the west, Tanzania in the south, Rwanda in the south, Rwanda in the River Nile, one of the longest rivers. It's the longest river in Africa.
Hmm.
And Uganda still he's part of the three countries that have Lake Victoria, one of the biggest lakes in the world. What I love what I love most in my country is the culture. We have a lot of ethnic groups in Uganda.
Okay.
We speak more than 70 languages. And actually, they call us the Pearl of Africa. Uganda is called the Pearl of Africa because we got a lot of tourist destinations. We got the Marshall Falls in the west. We got Queen Elizabeth. We have a lot of wild animals here. We have a lot of tourist attractions. We have a lot of waterfalls here. Get time and visit Uganda one time. You'll enjoy it also.
Actually, I have some friends from Uganda, and I've seen, over the years, pictures from when they visited, and it's really a beautiful place. And they, are very proud of their country. And you mentioned that there are over 70 languages.
Mm.
How many of these languages do you actually speak? And what's the official language of Uganda?
The official language is English.
Hmm.
Uh,
Colonialism,
we
very much a part of the
yeah,
reason for
yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
I speak we on the 70 languages. I fluently speak three: Kiswahili, English, and Luganda. Then I can ask for food when in something like seven languages. I can't sleep hungry when I'm in some of the regions that speak the other seven languages.
Okay, so would you share something with us in the three that you speak fluently? You can choose the phrase or the sentence that you want to use. I think something around food would be nice.
Asking for
So,
okay, I'd like to get something to eat. That's English.
mhm,
Then nsaba kufuna ku kyakulya. That's Luganda.
mhm.
Then nataka chakula. That's Kiswahili.
Oh, nice, nice.
Eh,
And
eh,
then I know you have a few others you just mentioned you can say that in, but you're not
eh,
fluent in those
eh.
seven. Um, and sticking on food, actually, what is the national dish of Uganda?
Actually, we don't have a national dish. We have more than 500 dishes. It depends which region you're in.
Okay, so what is your favorite dishes then? Since there's not a national dish, what are some of the favorite dishes of yours? And would you recommend
Mm,
anybody to try when they go to Uganda?
that's posho and fried beans.
Hmm.
That's mine. I don't recommend anyone to take it because actually we ate it while growing up a lot in school. So I stayed enjoying it, but not most of the people enjoy it, and not most of the people know how to cook it like my mom does. Perhaps
Ah,
that's why I love it and I take it as my favorite one.
Yeah. Well, home food that you grew up with are always the dishes that are most dear to your heart because they make you, warm inside and have great memories as well. Um, well, I'm going to switch to something a little bit more serious topic wise. We are very aware that, there's been anti-LGBTI plus legislation in Uganda passed
Mm.
recently. Um, we'd like to share a message, basically with your fellow citizens and allies about that bill.
Oh, what I'd like to say is after a hurricane, there is always a rainbow.
Hmm.
Let's let's not get carried away by what's happening right now. And I know most of us are living in fear of our lives, but the sun is shining soon. The sun is rising soon and it's going to shine bright for us. Let us not get much carried away by what's happening right now. Let us not get much much buried in this fear. Let us stay as us as we can, as much as much as possible, because I know soon we are going to experience what we call freedom.
Yes. I know there's work ahead, but I am also, very hopeful and know that we will reach that point. We just have to keep working at it and keep living our authentic lives. Um, we also know we've seen many of the countries, many African countries, both in the East and in West Africa, taking up some of this rhetoric. And what would you say to the other African nations about the present situations that they find themselves in?
I'd like to tell them to stick much in love with love. Love love is the reason why Africa is Africa right now.
Hmm.
If we didn't love, if our ancestors didn't have love for our nation or for our continent, for us, the black people, right now Africa wouldn't be Africa. Our our dads and grandpas fought for independence so that Africans remain united. When we stand right now and advocate for killing our fellow Africans just because they love different, just because they are created different, it really doesn't portray what we call the Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is a united Africa where even every African can feel loved, not an Africa that some Africans are run into hiding just because they are hunted to be killed by their fellow black people because they love different. Let us embrace Pan-Africanism. Let's embrace love. Let's embrace an Africa that is inclusive for all of us and aims for diversity and democracy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, us as a people, we forget that we are all, united and could be one and having that type of love that we know is there in Africa. Because I don't think that the rhetoric that I'm hearing, this is not to me African and not what I knew growing up. Um, for international government and agencies, what can we do to help? I mean, I'm not in Africa, I'm in the Caribbean region. So what are things that you think we can do to help?
Right now, I'd like to be thankful for those that have tried as much as possible to put a lot of pressure on governments like that of Uganda that is trying to stand that is trying to advocate for the killing of fellow blacks just because they love different. And I'd like to tell the international community not to back down now, not to back down, just to make sure they continue doing that work, just to make sure that countries like Uganda, the countries like Uganda emphasize equal rights for all. I know that most of the things that are going to be done are going to affect all of us and our families, but at least it will make people understand that equality, all equal rights for all equal, all inclusivity for all is one of the major aim. I like to be thankful for the US government. It has done something, it has done what it has done through the World Bank right now. Because of course I'm not in Uganda currently, I'm in Nairobi, but at least I'm feeling it. I know that the Ugandan government is soon going to give up on what it was advocating for. And I'd like the international community also not to stop to support young activists that are advocating for equal rights for all, and also to open borders for those that are vulnerable, because right now we have a lot of people fleeing for their own safety. We have a lot of LGBTQIA plus, especially Ugandans, that are fleeing Uganda to the nearby countries, or to the countries that ain't near but are open and welcome the LGBTQIA plus, like Canada. I'm very thankful for the Canadian government for its aid, for its fight for equal rights for the LGBTQIA, and I'd like the international community not to stop now, but to just push more, because actually some of us are not going to give up. Some of us are not going to give up. Some of us have sacrificed everything to make sure that at least tomorrow we have an inclusive.
Yeah, I just missed the last bit there when you were saying that at least tomorrow we have an inclusive society. So I figured that was what you were saying.
Yeah. I was saying at least some of us have sacrificed it all to make sure that tomorrow we have an inclusive Africa, all an Africa for all an
Yeah.
Africa that it's okay to love who you really love, not to be in fear of waking up one day dead, or waking up one day killed by a mob, or waking up one day in jail for life imprisonment, like how it is in Uganda.
Yeah. I mean, from seeing the fact that you have politicians speaking about what's happening from the pressures from the international community says that it is working. If it wasn't working, they will be going about their day not saying anything. But the fact that they are actually saying and speaking to it means that they're seeing the impacts of it. And I know it's those sort of things are a hard time, but for the people, but I think it's a necessary tool to get results, because left alone, nobody will make any changes. Um, Kind of for me, the spirit of Africa and also to just general people is music. So, and this will be pretty much my last question. And so what type of music are you into? What do you listen to, and what is your favorite right now?
Actually, I listen to music according to the moment I am in.
Mhm.
When I'm happy, I listen to those songs that, move the moment. When I'm sad, I find myself listening to those slow jams and everything. My favorite song is not actually not and is not sung by an African. It's sung by Katy Perry.
Mhm.
It's called Firework.
Oh yes, I know that
That's
well.
my favorite song.
Yeah.
That's my favorite song. It's kind of motivating. But I actually enjoy listening to the late Phile Bongole Lutaya.
Mhm.
He was he was actually the first African musician to come out to come out openly as HIV positive in the 80s.
Okay.
I enjoy his music. And the next one is also Ugandan. Is also late. The late Principal Job Kafelo. He also sings a music genre that is more a Ugandan genre, not a worldwide genre. And those are my favorite ones actually. The one that is kind of also jams in it is also late. He died recently, something like 3 years or 4 years back. Is the late Radio. They used to sing in a duo, Radio and Weasel. They had a music group called The Good Life.
Mhm.
He was also his songs also they're kind of modern and more. He has those that are talking about corruption. He has more of love. Then he also didn't hesitate in his short music career and his with his melodies to touch on some things that are really affecting Uganda, like corruption in the leaders, advocating for women rights, calling out the people to at least calling out the government to at least make sure the hospitals have things that can help women to give birth safely. So I don't know, my kind of music taste is kind of funny when it comes to a Ugandan. They'll call me an old man because actually I prefer music that is sung by people that died many years back. But at least I find it more I find it more informative than the music we are having today.
All right, it's good to have a spectrum. Anyway, well, that's it for my questions, and thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope that we get to talk some more. And you just, keep up the work that you're doing and stay safe.
Okay, Rennie. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
All right,
Stay
pleasure.
safe. Pleasure. Bye.